Hey there, welcome back to my channel if you're returning, or welcome if you're new. If your body shape is starting at inverted triangle or apple, just know that it is absolutely possible to change your body shape from one of these into an hourglass figure, specifically through exercise and nutrition. So a quick rundown on these shapes. Both inverted triangle and apple body shapes both have broad upper bodies that narrow down heading towards the bottom of the body. When weight is gained, it mainly goes to the upper body, and specifically for apple body shapes, it'll carry around the midsection. Inverted triangle body shapes, however, tend to have a more athletic look without as much weight in their midsections or stomachs versus apple body shapes, but nevertheless, body fat tends to be stored on the upper bodies versus lower body or through thighs, legs, things like that. The side glutes, which is the gluteus medius and minimus, are the muscles that are located on the outward sides of your glute muscles. Your hips, side booty, any of those, that is what that is. They stabilize the pelvis and are also involved in movements like hip abduction and rotation. So there are some key things to keep in mind. First and foremost, body fat can change how your body looks. The size of your muscles will make a big difference too. The way that both these pair together can drastically change how your body looks. With this in mind, if you focus a system of exercising that specifically targets these types of muscles that are in your side glutes, keeping in mind that muscle and fat will change how it looks, and keeping everything else relatively the same in size, you'll be able to start redefining the proportions in your body and really see some change. All this is just specialized training. You're just being really specific about which muscles are going to get the hypertrophic type of approach versus the maintenance type of approach. A thought to keep in mind that reminds me of how possible this is, if you've ever seen like dudes that would focus on their upper body and never miss a single upper body day, but they tend to go here and there and skip around leg days, and they end up having this really broad upper body and they do not have legs to match. That right there is a prime example of how specialized training, which in this case they are being intentional and purposeful with their upper bodies but not their lower bodies. This shows how it is possible and can be done the reverse way. Okay, so let's dive a bit more into the exercise part of this. Let's say that you already think that your upper body is a perfect size and you just want to get a little emphasis, a little oomph on your lower body. If you're starting from complete scratch, meaning that you've never picked up a weight in your life, never stepped foot on a treadmill, etc., then what you will be doing is body recomposition. Body recomposition is a matter of losing body fat and gaining muscle at a relatively similar pace, and this will start to redefine, redistribute how your body's proportions look. And it's completely okay to train your upper body in a maintenance way while you train your lower body in a muscle growing way, because at the same time, you don't want to completely neglect your upper body. You do need it. It is going to be extremely helpful for you to be able to lift the weights that you need. Not to mention that you do also want to make it look good up top too. So that will happen through toning, which is pretty much strengthening your muscles so that they become firmer, stronger, and that they show better through body fat. So long as you are doing this and you are allowing your lower body to be broken down and repaired in the necessary way, then you will see your lower body start to outpace visually from your upper body. If anything is out of sync, let's say you don't eat the proper amount of macronutrient, so not enough protein, for instance, or if you're not training hard enough on top of that, and you're not recovering from the gym. So when you're sore, how you're prioritizing recovery and minimizing how much soreness you have. If you aren't careful about making sure that all of those touch points are given attention to, then you're not going to get the results that you are looking for. So on the other end, when you are starting out smaller and you'd like to gain size, you will have to go in a slight bulking phase, which is when you eat a little bit more calories so that you're able to grow a little bit more. That's really the only way. If you aren't eating enough calories, then you aren't going to see the amount of growth. The only way you are going to grow is if you have more calories in your body than maintenance. And I'm saying specifically for the people that are already starting out small. When you're starting from absolute scratch, both ends of the spectrum, you can see results pretty quickly. But if you are a bit more primed, meaning that you've already been in the gym like 6+ months and 1+ years working and training on your body, then it's not going to be as simple as those that are on month 0, month 1, and so on and so forth. Also, when setting up a program, it has to consider the side glutes primarily. So you want to make sure that you highlight the muscles that you want to see differently, right? So if you want your side glutes to be seen differently, then your program has to emphasize that. This doesn't mean that the other parts of your legs won't get trained. Like your hamstrings and your quads are all muscles that are going to eventually be moved. But with that in mind, the emphasis and the amount of work that your glutes are going to get, or your side glutes are going to get, versus the other parts is going to have to be considered more. If you do want a program that has all of these in mind, put together, ready to go for you, and you don't have to do any planning yourself, I do have my body shape balancing program available in the description below. It is linked. And whether you use it or not, just bear in mind that whatever program you use, it has to shift around what needs to be prioritized. I also need to add a note here. You cannot get rid of hip dips. They are harmless and natural, and they really shouldn't be seen as anything unnatural or unordinary. Not to mention, by the time you start snatching in your waist and growing your glutes, it's gonna all come together and look really good. And it's really not gonna matter that you even have them in the first place, because your overall shape is going to look so good. Not to mention, it's going to give you a natural glute look anyways, so embrace that. But I've also personally noticed that a little bit of extra body fat can help with filling in that visual appearance of hip dips. So keep in mind, it can be slightly less noticeable as you are filling out that area, change around body fat, but don't bank on it disappearing completely, especially if you have really prominent ones. Some of my recommended exercises that are my holy grails for side glute growth definitely include single leg presses, clamshells, good mornings in the abduction machine. Banded jump squats are really good as well. These will challenge your glutes as a whole, but it will put a little bit more emphasis on those side glutes. When it comes to core exercises, you can get away with not having any dedicated core exercises. And this is solely because you need to be bracing down with your core for a lot of these other exercises, whether it's upper body or lower body. So then that really challenges the stability of your core and thus strengthens your core and tightens it as well. For example, some exercises would be like rows or glute bridges or RDLs. But if your desire is to have defined abs, then working on your internal core stability, those really deep muscles, is the direction you should be going in. Some exercises that are perfect for this include overhead marches or farmer's carry or kettlebell around the world. Also, another note to add in, and this is because I see conflicting things about lifting weights for your upper body and it becoming too big. So if you naturally carry more weight in your upper body, the last thing you want to do is train your upper body in a way that would basically benefit your upper body growing in that way. So there would be a bunch of suggestions that seem like it wouldn't do much, but in reality, when you already have weight up top, the last thing you want to do is add any larger muscles up top when you're really trying to grow your lower body and put emphasis in it. So just to keep in mind that yes, working out your upper body is super important. Yes, you should not skip it. However, there is a certain way to go about it, especially keeping in mind where you're starting from or what shape you're trying to go for. With that being said, correct exercises that will help tone and tighten your upper body is going to be the approach that you should go towards. Body fat looks and sits differently on top of muscles. So if you have developed muscles underneath, then that will change how that body fat will look as you change your muscle growth and size. Be wary of the blanket advice, okay? It's not one size fits all. As for nutrition, let's keep in mind the point that I made about body fat and muscle. You will need to manipulate both of these things to be able to change your body shape or give it the look that you are going for. And nutrition has a great influence on this. If you have a high body fat percentage, you have plenty of room to take down your body size through body fat reduction. Your main goal is to tap into your body fat and use that as energy so that you can start to bring down your size. Eating foods that reduce bloating and encourage body fat reduction are going to be key for you to be able to achieve this. Basically, the goal is for you to eat real food, whether you are a vegetarian, pescatarian, whatever Aryan you are. Real food with real ingredients will be the way to go. For those that are starting smaller and want to get bigger, there's no way around it. You gotta eat more. But to prevent that from backfiring and collecting a whole bunch of body fat that you don't want, you want to do this gradually and adjust when needed. So let's say you eat 1,600 calories currently, and you want to start adding on more calories around like the 200 to 300 range. If you see good results from that, then you can keep going. And if not, then maybe you might have to scale back. It really depends on how your body's reacting to this. Collecting a little bit of body fat is inevitable and it's going to happen. It's natural. Don't be too concerned about that. The more pressing matter is if it just turns into something that you don't want completely. And to support muscle growth, you'll want to add in your body's minimum amount of protein needed for growth. So if you multiply 0.8 times your body weight, then this is the magic number that you're probably not eating right now and should probably get used to getting in on the daily. Because protein can be thought of as cinder blocks, it's essential for you to hit this number as best as you can, because without cinder blocks, you can't build, right? If your diet is 80% you being good and 20% within reason you can have in your favorite things, then you're going to see good results. Not to mention, doing it this way just feels less like torture. And most importantly, make adjustments where you need it. So with the help of targeted exercise, proper nutrition, and prioritizing recovery, you will be able to change your body in a way that you did not even know that it could change into. This is a holistic approach too, so overall it's a win where it's sustainable, but you'll still be able to see the results that you're looking for. I encourage you to leave questions down below if you have any, and if there is enough of them, then I could make a couple videos answering them in detail, but if not, then I don't mind just shooting quick replies here and there where there's questions. And as a reminder, the Body Shape Balancing Program is available down below in the description if you're interested in an already put together plan for you to be able to start changing your body shape. Until next time, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.